Happy New Year. It's the 1st of January 2021. It's the first day of a brand new year, gorgeous winter's day. It's the first day I'm going to be launching my Epic Golf Challenge. The first day I'm going to be launching a YouTube channel. Two things that I have absolutely no idea how to do. This could be worse than 2020. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Go Low Like a Pro. My name is David Hayden. I'm an average club golfer just like many of you. And by devoting my time to golf this year, practicing like a pro, really committing to improvement, I'm hoping to answer the question, just how low can I go if I give up work and play golf for a year? I decided to start the show and this channel here at Falkirk Golf Club in central Scotland. That's because that's where my golf journey began. This is where I learned to play golf with my dad and my big brother. I was a junior member here for many years, and it seemed only fitting this is where I should start this challenge. Now, I joked at the start of the video that I had no idea what I was going to do with this challenge. Now, that's not exactly true, because I have thousands of ideas. I just don't have the experience to fall back on. Now, I believe that this channel can be a massive success, but I'm worried. I'm worried that I'm going to step up onto the first tee and shank it straight out of bounds. So it's a very exciting time, but it's also very daunting, which is another reason why we're here at Falkirk Golf Club. This is the view from the first medal tee. Now, as a kid, coming up here and having to play this par 5 was always a daunting task. You know, as you can see, you've got trees to the left and right there, fairways right down the middle. You've got quite a long carry before you even get to the fairway, especially for a kid. There's a burn down there, the yellow tees. Used to be a practice putting green just in front of the tee. 18th green's just to the right there. If you do go right past the trees, you're probably blocked out coming back. There's even more trees off to the left, even if you do get through the gap. So it's quite a daunting task, especially for a youngster. The other thing, if I just turn this camera around here, is that you're right in front of the clubhouse. You've got all these people sat at the windows watching. 18th green just there, and off to the left there. There's usually a massive gallery of other people ready to tee off, waiting at the pro shop. So it wasn't the friendliest of first tees, put it that way. Now this tee shot is the golfing embodiment of how I'm feeling right now. So I'm going to well, I think that kind of sums it up. Could be better, could be worse. Average club golfer. I really wanted to hit the first shot of the channel on day one, and I wanted to hit it off that tee. But it is absolutely freezing, so I've hit the shot and I've come straight back to the car. Now, probably my biggest hope for all of this is actually more so for the channel than it is for the challenge. I don't mind so much if I don't actually do that well at the golf side of things, as long as I enjoy myself. And a huge part of that is going to come from the help that I get from you guys. Just knowing that you guys are watching and supporting is going to be absolutely huge for me, especially on days like this, when even the biggest golf fan thinks twice about getting out of their warm, cosy bed. That sense of community and friendship that goes with golf is one of the things that I really love about it. Now, I'm a member of the Stage Golf Society, which is based at the Richmond Golf Club in Surrey, and I'm also a member of Kingsfield Golf and Leisure in Linlithgow. And at both these clubs, the people, whether they're members or owners or staff, are just the most wonderful, welcoming, friendly lot, and I'd love to have that kind of friendly community on here. So say hi in the comments, let me know that you're watching, you know, tell me to get a haircut, tell me anything at all, you know. No, let's stick to golf. One of the things I might need some help with is that I don't actually know how a pro trains. I've written to a few, and what with it being the holidays and everything, none of them have actually got back to me yet. Merry Christmas. but I'll keep writing to them and I'll hopefully get some answers. But till then, I'll just be making it up. But who knows, maybe some of you are pros, or you might just have some great tips regardless of your handicap. Who knows, you could be the person who sends the drill tip or suggestion that actually ends up shaving a shot off my handicap. That was 3 things, by the way. Don't need drill tips. Don't even have a drill. Likewise, everything I do and try I will share with you, along with honest opinions and video evidence, and who knows, it might end up helping shave a shot off your handicap. Can't say this enough though, I am not a pro. I'm not claiming to teach or advise in any way beyond a chat that you might have with your mates. There are thousands of golf channels and pros and videos out there that are so much better than I could ever do. This is all just about my challenge and our journey. Actually, you might have a YouTube channel or know something or a lot about social media, which is something that I will definitely need help with. So hit me up. Anyway, it's getting dark. I can now feel my hands, so I'm going to get out of this car park. Fast car. So my rough plan, until I know any better, is to just start training the way that I normally would. That will also hopefully give a good base level of my ability just now and what I want to improve on. And it'll also show you what hasn't worked in getting me as low as I'd like to be. For the first month or so, I'm going to be aiming for about 10 hours a week. I'll also be focusing on a particular shot each month. That may not sound like a lot, but it is 10 hours a week more than I would normally do at this time of year. And I will also be spending a lot of time learning and looking at logistics of making the channel, etc. Over the year, however, I will be looking comprehensively at everything that could possibly improve my game and document it on here, of course. That could be the drills, the lessons, the training, the hours and hours of training, the sessions on the range, on the putting green, at the short game area, ball striking, the mental aspects, course management, physical aspects, strength, flexibility, not to mention round after round after round at numerous courses up and down the country, including some famous championship and top 100 courses, and of course discussing it all with you lot. It really is an element of you suggest it, I'll try it, so chuck some suggestions in the comments box. You'll even get to meet some of my family and friends, and who knows, you might even recognise one or two. We'll throw in some interviews, some fun little segments, challenges, competitions, maybe even some prizes, and hopefully we will have something worth watching. It really is going to be the good, the bad and the ugly of this challenge, and I can guarantee that some of my golf shots are going to bring the comedy too. It's basically Strictly Come Golf. Okay, so the shot that I'm going to be working on in January is my short putting. By that I mean putts 5 feet and under. It's an ideal shot for January. I don't have to go outside, I don't have to go to the course, I can stay at home, I can be in the warmth, I can have light at any time of day. Best of all, I can do it in my slippers. Now, luckily for me, a few months back during lockdown 6.3, I was fortunate enough to do an online putting school, really, with Phil Kenyon, the world-renowned putting coach Phil Kenyon, who has worked with likes of Henrik Stenson, Rory McIlroy, to name but two, and also actually does a lot of work with average club golfers like us. And he did this thing on Facebook. It was 5 tips, 5 tasks over 5 days, which was great. I just signed up for it. No idea if he's got any intentions of doing it again. He does have a far more in-depth coaching plan, which goes into far more detail. I may look at doing that as the year progresses, we shall see. But if it's of any interest to you, then just Google Phil Kenyon putting, I'm sure you'll find something. So it's week 1, it's day 1. and I'm going to do task 1 from that little school. Let me just talk you through my setup. I have 2 bottles of wine with a piece of string tied between the 2 just to give me a straight line. You could do this with a laser, you could do this with a putting mat if you have them. I've opted for the cheap and cheerful, no frills, low tech, rocky training in the mountains movie montage version. I have a ball, underneath that I have a little sticker, which is where I'm going to be putting from. 5 feet away from that I've got a coaster, which is roughly the size of a hole. And in between that, about 19 inches, I say about, it's 19 inches, measured it, from the ball I'll have 2 mugs. And they are separated 5.5 centimetres apart. I believe, if I remember this rightly, it gives me a 1 degree margin of error for keeping the ball on line when I putt. All I have to do is basically go and hit a load of putts, keep a tally of what I hit, if I hit the left cup, if I hit the right cup, if I get it through, and then at the end I can have a look at it and see if I have a bias, see if I'm pulling on my putts, see if I'm pushing my putts, I might be doing a bit of both, and just try and work out where my miss is, where my putting needs work. And that's what this is designed to do, and I'm going to go and putt for, I don't know, half an hour maybe, and don't worry, I'll only show you 2 or 3. Yeah, so that's the plan. Left cup. I should say actually, so I have the ruler across the top. You don't need that, you don't need a piece of string to stay there either, you just have to set it up. But when I did this the last time, I found that I'd be hitting however many putts, and then because I'd be hitting the cups, I'd be just knocking the cups slightly further apart. All of a sudden it got really easy, and it was only when I went back and looked at it, you know, the gap it was about 9 centimetres or something now. So that's just there so that I can keep pushing them back in if I keep hitting the cups. So 1 left cup. Shave the right cup. Smack the right cup. I was going to put the Rocky theme music over this, but I'd probably get in trouble for copyright, so you're just getting a voiceover instead. You'll see me doing some of the other drills here too, but I'll go into them more next week. Something else I've realised here is that filming putting practice for hours and hours means that you end up with hours and hours of footage that no one will ever want to see. All the recording of the data, checking the cups, realigning the target, as well as putt after putt after putt. What I did want to add quickly was that making these changes feels different, because it's not my usual habits and stance, etc. So if I do find a change that I think is working, like grip further down the shaft for example, I make a note of it on my phone so I don't forget. It's a huge document now that is always being added to, sometimes with the new discoveries contradicting the old, but it's all there to look at and remind myself, especially when I start making the same old mistakes. One of the things I added this week when working on starting the ball online was changing my perception of where I'm lining up my putter. Now this is actually Phil Kenyon's 5th day task, but let me show you quickly what I mean. Depending where my eye level is, changes where I perceive to be aiming. Again, more on this in future weeks, but simply put, in this setup with the string on the target line, if my eyes are directly over the ball, I appear to be lining up on target. If my eyes are behind the ball, it looks like I'm aiming left. And if they are beyond the ball, it looks like they're aiming right. The club and its aim hasn't changed, but my perception of it has. So, with my current setup, I realised that I was being more successful when I aligned the bottom of my shaft with the line of the club and the target. I have a centre shafted putter, by the way. It's not something that I've done before, but it does seem to be working here. So I wrote it in my phone. Finally, here are the results of week 1. I hit 60 putts a day. As you can see from day 1, I was pulling a lot of putts, and remember, I've done this all before, so it's crept back in already. Day 2, the same number through, but slightly more being pushed, probably overcompensating for feeling like I was pulling them. A lot more through on day 3, and less misses to both sides. Just FYI, it was day 3 that I made that note on my phone. And then clearly I forgot to read it on day 4, before a slight improvement on day 5. You can see the same results there as percentages. I did that particularly in case I increased the number of putts I hit each day. And so let's see what that looks like in a graph. Not a huge amount of movement, but hopefully we'll see that blue line climb week on week. There's lots more to come, but I don't want to put out these massive long videos, so I'm going to cut down the episodes into sort of 15 to 20 minute chunks. That way hopefully you won't get bored of me, and it also means you can just blitz them rather than having to make an appointment to sit down for a night with YouTube. So this is the end of part 1. Hopefully I will be able to link it to the next video, which I have geniusly called part 2. Just a heads up though, the weather here in Scotland is still absolutely freezing, so it's highly unlikely that I'll get out on the course this week. I will be up here at Kingsfield Golf and Leisure though. I'll be at the range, I can show you my swing and the first couple of aspects that I'm going to start working on in regards to that this month. What else can I show you? I can tell you about the physical training that I have just started, and I can tell you why, and I can also show you my diary and basically just have a quick check-in and have a look at what I've actually done this week. I hope you enjoyed part 1. If you did, click subscribe, come along, be a part of the journey. Remember that this is my first attempt doing any of this, so please be kind in the comments, and I genuinely hope that you'll join us in part 2. To play at the end of part 1, I leave you with the musical stylings of those putting cups. Be good, and if you can't, shout 4. I hate these